Welcome to our webinar titled The Evolving Role of the CFO and How Orchid Can Help Drive Digital Transformation. The role of the Chief Financial Officer or the CFO is fundamentally evolving. The term Digital CFO describes a financial leader who not only masters spreadsheets and forecasts, but also drives innovation and enables agility across an enterprise in response to increasing demand for real-time decision-making. This reflects a fundamental evolution in the CFO's role from financial gatekeeper to strategic enabler. Traditionally, CFOs have focused on financial reporting, budgeting, risk management, and compliance. However, the finance function is shifting beyond the keepers of historical records to supporting value-driven activities, including continuous close, automated processes, and the production of key performance metrics, facilitating collaboration and sophisticated data analytics that aid better company-wide understanding. Today's CFO integrates finance with technology, operations, and strategy, driving performance and transformation. Embracing digital tools for CFOs means moving beyond manual, error-prone processes and gaining faster, deeper insights into business performance, empowering them to advise the CEO and board with real-time financial intelligence. For the company, a digital finance function can improve operational efficiency, enhance accuracy, ensure regulatory compliance, and support faster, data-driven decision-making. The pandemic significantly heightened the leadership status of finance teams, increasing expectations for strategic guidance and the ability to predict the financial future. Finance leaders who had already completed their digital transformation were in a much stronger position to provide guidance to management. They leveraged their financial data and powerful analytics for greater agility. This enabled them to monitor business performance trends in near real time and rapidly stress test responses, supporting faster, data-driven decisions with increased confidence. This provided an advantage over less digitalized competitors, allowing businesses to pivot quickly to new models and stay relevant. The crisis underscored that relying solely on historical data is no longer sufficient. There's a critical need to be more proactive in using data and technology to create resilient business models. CFOs are reporting an increased demand from stakeholders for more real-time, up-to-date data during the pandemic. For over half of finance professionals, driving the company's digital transformation further is now their number one goal. This commitment to digitalization now outranks cutting costs and driving growth. The influence of CFOs over their company's digitalization efforts has significantly increased. Finance leaders must embrace technology, collaboration tools, and automation, and effectively communicate their benefits to stakeholders to achieve better business results. Technology is expected to have the greatest impact in several key areas of finance over the next 2 years, including period end and year-end close, data governance, automation, collaboration, data analytics, forecasting and strategic planning, and embracing and leveraging artificial intelligence or AI. Challenges faced by modern CFOs: outdated processes and lack of analytics. Many state that their inability to access real-time financial data and insights is the most difficult aspect of their jobs today. They say that they spend as much time collecting and preparing data as they do analyzing it. The lack of the digital tools needed to perform their jobs effectively is a key challenge. Talent gaps. Talent gaps are a major impediment to driving digital adoption. Digital skills and technological literacy and advanced data analytics are identified as some of the hardest skills to find in the current talent market. Cultural and financial hurdles. Businesses are reporting that they are not yet ready for cloud-connected financial management systems, and that their business is not yet culturally ready for more automation. They perceive the cost of technology itself as a barrier and point to the related cost of training. Orchid's add-on modules directly access the evolving demands and challenges faced by today's CFOs by streamlining financial processes and automating complex, time-consuming tasks. This directly combats the issue of outdated manual processes and the excessive time spent on data collection and preparation. Improving collaboration and decision-making by providing enhanced tools and accessible insights, Orchid supports the CFO's transition to a more strategic and influential leadership role within the organization. Increasing operational efficiency and extending the capabilities of Sage functionality. These improvements help businesses become more agile, adaptable, and resilient, which is crucial in the dynamic economic landscapes we find ourselves today, as highlighted by the pandemic's impact and today's volatile world. Orchid's modules fall into a number of different categories, including collaboration, tailoring, automation and integration, streamlining financial processes, budgeting, reporting and business intelligence, and operations and inventory management. We will now run through some specific modules and scenarios. The scenarios we'll run through include security and automation, collaboration, and data analytics. Our first scenario, security and automation, includes Orchid EFT Processing, which automates payments and receipts. EFT Processing automates the creation of EFT payment and direct debit files in the specific format required by your bank. It makes use of the standard Sage 300 accounts payable, accounts receivable, and payroll processing routines. It supports over 800 bank formats from over 80 countries, with others that can be created on request. It allows for emailing of remittance advices using configurable templates. Security features include a two-step approval process for bank detail changes, encryption of bank details, optional password protection for emailed remittance advices, and extensive audit logging. This module helps thousands of businesses transition from paper-based to electronic payments and receipts, directly supporting the CFO's strategic drive for digitalization, automation, and increased operational efficiency. It eliminates expensive paper checks and avoids duplicate data entry for a quick return on investment. The other module we'll be looking at in this first scenario is Extender. Extender provides a cost-effective way to configure, customize, and extend Sage 300 without writing complex code. All configurations and scripts are securely stored in your Sage 300 database, making upgrades easy without needing recompilation. It can monitor selected fields to trigger real-time email alerts or display details on Sage 300 screens using Orchid Notes. It creates an audit trail of key changes to the Sage 300 database, logging what changed, when, and who made the change. Extender also allows you to add consistency and transparency to approvals and other critical business processes with structured workflows. You can monitor progress with the Workflow console. The Developer Edition allows for further customization using Python scripts. This enables advanced capabilities like introducing custom validations, conditional alerting, automating business processes, modifying existing screens, creating new screens, and building custom tables within Sage 300. It also facilitates advanced integration with cloud-based collaboration tools and other systems. I will now pass you over to Natalie, who will run through security and automation in action.
Many of you know EFT Processing from Orchid. Today we're going to focus on features to increase the security and efficiency of the EFT process. The ability to transfer the file to the bank's SFTP directly without user intervention, and the option to use an application developed in Orchid's extender to encrypt and digitally sign the EFT file. SFTP has been available in Orchid's EFT for Sage 300 for many years, but we find an increased interest in the solution as more banks offer the service to more customers. Once configured, the process to create the EFT file is the same as now, but users don't need to upload the file to the banking software. So you see here, you enter your payments, select the batches you want to create an EFT file for, and then as you create the EFT file, when you've configured the bank to SFTP directly, the file will go straight to the bank. If you're not using SFTP, as you know, you download the file to your machine and then you use the banking software to upload it. Similarly, encryption is becoming more popular these days, and with the PGP encryption app, you configure Sage 300 to use the bank's public key to encrypt the file, and optionally you can also use your private key to digitally sign the file. Let's look at SFTP first, and today we are not getting into all the details of how to set up the bank for SFTP. This is all presented in the help, including a video detailing what you need to do. What we're going to look at is in EFT setup on the bank. We have currently configured CCB for a file output destination. To do SFTP, we change the output destination to use SFTP with password or with key file or with two-factor authentication. So key file and a password. So let's choose key file. So I put in details of my SFTP server, my username, find the path to the key file, so that's the one for this. If there's a password on the key file, you enter it. And the rest of the configuration is similar to what you do for EFT. You have different options for your file name, and you choose which folder on the SFTP site you're going to use, and what your file type is. Then you can use a test SFTP to make sure that it can connect. This will upload a small text file to the SFTP site. Then you save. Next time you create a payment file for CCB for EFT, it will be uploaded directly to the FTP site. Now, if we want to encrypt the file and digitally sign it, what you can do is use extender and an extender app called PGP encryption, which you can purchase from Orchid. So I have installed that app here. And to configure this app, you need to do a few things. Basically, you select the EFT file type. In our case, we're going to encrypt for the CAN CPA005 that we're using with the CCB bank. Encrypt the file. In a live setup, we suggest you do tick delete the original file, but while we are testing, it's sometimes nice to keep the original unencrypted file to check that the bank accepts the format. Because once the file is encrypted, a human cannot read it again. So this is where we're going to archive the file. We have the public key path that was provided, the public key that was provided by the bank, and a passphrase if there is one. If we need to digitally sign the file as well, you would generally need to create your own private key, public key, combination using a freely available tool to generate PGP keys. You keep the private key for yourself and you send the public key to the bank. So you put the private key path here and the key phrase here. So once I've saved this, I will go to EFT transactions and create an EFT file for that file type, my batch number 1. And when I select create, I've already exported that batch before, but yes, I want to recreate the file in this case. A reminder that this new security option was added a few years ago, so if you are upgrading from a really old version of EFT, you need to make sure that the users who need to recreate a file have the security group, are assigned in the right security group. So now the file is being encrypted. So you can see that it has been successfully encrypted and digitally signed. It's moved it to the archive folder and uploaded so that we can have a look at the file in the presentation without going to SFTP. I have saved the file on my machine. Now if I look at it, you can see that the file is encrypted. It starts with begin PGP message and you can't see the detail of the file. So when you combine SFTP with PGP encryption, you have a very secure and efficient bank integration for your payments and direct debits.
Our second scenario is collaboration. And the first module we're looking at is Document Management Link. Document Management Link, or DML, provides easy access to essential documents directly from your Sage 300 screens. It builds upon your existing scanning and storage regime to make relevant files easily accessible to Sage 300 users where and when they are likely to be needed. You can specify where and when document links appear in Sage 300 by linking them to any screen, including third-party modules developed using the Sage 300 SDK, any field, including grid fields, a combination of two fields, or specific data, for example, customers, items, batches, transactions. You can nominate where linked documents reside based on your requirements and whether you use the Sage 300 desktop or web screens. It supports network folders, which are available in both desktop and web screen users and can be synced with cloud-based file sharing services like Dropbox, Google Drive, and Microsoft OneDrive. It also integrates with SharePoint. Document Management Link adds consistency and transparency to approvals and other critical business processes by storing and displaying documents when required, enhancing workflow and sharing of information. You can drag and drop documents directly into the Document Management Link alert box, including emails and email attachments from Outlook. The next module we're looking at is Notes. Notes offers an easy way to attach context-sensitive notes to Sage 300 screens, improving productivity and customer service by displaying relevant information where and when it's needed. You can link notes to any screen, including third-party modules developed using the Sage 300 SDK, any field, any two fields, for example, vendor and item, or any data. This could be specific customers, items, batches, and transactions. Notes can be used for procedural guidance, customer-specific notes, for example, delivery instructions, item-specific notes, and dual key notes, for example, customer and item combinations. When combined with Orchid Extender, you can generate dynamic, feature-rich extended notes, enabling conditional notes, on-the-fly notes like real-time item availability checks, enhanced functionality, for example, drilling through to open transactions, and display of data from other Sage 300 companies, along with cloud integration. The third module we'll be looking at in this scenario is Teamwork. Teamwork integrates AutoSimply's AC chat module and Orchid's workflow for collaboration capabilities, providing configurable alerts, notifications, and approval workflows for Sage 300 records in a chat interface. Users can discuss Sage 300 transactions instantly, reducing delays in approvals and updates. It enables improved collaboration across different departments within a single chat platform, reducing back and forth emails. Teamwork offers a made-for-mobile version of Orchid's Extender Workflow console with added chat functionality, allowing employees to access updates from anywhere via mobile or desktop chat apps or in Sage 300 screens. Conversations can be logged and referenced for better tracking and documentation of decisions related to Sage 300 transactions. It can be combined with Document Management Link to make signatures and photos captured on a mobile device available in Sage 300. Use cases include approving customer credit limit changes, requesting new GL accounts, and approving purchase requisitions. I'll now pass you over to Natalie, who will run through this scenario focusing on collaboration.
In this part of the presentation, we're going to demonstrate an example of facilitating collaboration between team members by sharing notes and documents when processing AP transactions on the Sage web screens as well as the desktop screens, and also when entering GL entries, GL batches. We'll then demonstrate an example of approving GL batches in Sage 300, and we will introduce our latest product, Teamwork, developed in conjunction with AutoSimply, to integrate Extender's approval workflow functionality with AutoSimply AC Chat module. And more details on Teamwork will be available in next month's webinar. Let's start with looking at Notes and Document Management Link on the Sage 300 rep screens. We released the web screens for Notes and DML last year, and there are detailed presentations on the website and in the help. Let's now look at our batch 84. We can see we've created an entry for vendor 1200, and we can see the notes that applied to this vendor. I could change the categories, which changes the background color if I have the rights to do so, or I could add a new note. In this example, I've created this invoice number, and I've already attached a document for this invoice. So I can double click on this and look at the document that this invoice relates to. I've also configured it to show all the previous documents for previous invoices for vendor 1200. Let's create a new entry for vendor 1450. There's no note for this vendor, so let's create a new note. I'm adding my document number, and now I can upload the related document like this, or I could drag and drop. This is my invoice for this vendor. It's renamed the invoice based on the invoice number that I've entered here. Enter the amount. If I save this, later on I've posted my AP invoice batch. I'm now entering the payment that relates to this transaction. So I'm going to enter a payment for vendor 1450. I'm seeing all the previous documents that have been added, including the one we've just added today. And as I'm going through the documents that are available for payments, you can see I can navigate through those documents and see the invoices if they've been if they've been added, or I could still add the document at that point in time. So I'm just going to, in this case, I'm going to apply this payment to this particular invoice. If we then look at our vendor activity, for vendor 1200, we can see our note, the document that was entered previously, that is selected on the list here, or all the previous documents. But let's go back to our vendor 1450. Got my note that is shared across all the team members depending on the screens that they use in Sage 300. If I go to the transaction tab and select the invoice that we've just entered, you can see the document is available here all the way through to payment, vendor activity. Just want to show you one other example before we move on to approval using Extender, is on the GL batch listing. Let me open this GL batch, which we've configured with two elements: notes based on the GL account that's selected here, and that can act as a GL account long description. This is stored in the note, so you could add it to reports that may need that information. And we've also stored some documents based on the batch and entry number. Particularly relevant if you are entering GL journals rather than the subledger journals, but this is an example of a configuration on GL batches. And again, this also works on the web screens. I'm now ready to approve my GL batches, and I've configured Extender workflow and teamwork to be able to approve GL batches in the chat environment. The way it's configured for this particular company is that subledger batches, such as this AP batch, can be posted without approval, but GL batches need approval from two users, Anne and Steve. So one is ready to post, this one is waiting for approval. So I'm now logging into the app, the Teamwork AC Chat app. I'm looking at details about batch 233 that needs to be approved by Anne and Steve. It's pending approval, so I can ask some questions. I can chat to my team members about it, and all the chats are stored in the Sage 300 database. So the chat that might happen currently in emails or in chat messages, but outside of Sage 300, what this is giving you is the ability to incorporate all this in Sage 300. So after having had a few chat exchanges, I can then approve. I can see it's now been approved by the level 1 approver. And let me now log into the app as Steve. Steve can see the history, see Anne's question, her comment. Yes, it's okay for this year. Can add his own comment. Can also add a file to support this approval. So let's say bank confirmation. And when he's ready, Steve can then approve in the app. So here I'm showing you the Windows app. The app is also available for iOS and Android. You can see the workflow has now been completed, that both Anne and Steve have approved, and these are their comments. So if I go back to Sage 300 and have a look at my batch listing again, I can see two things. At the bottom section here, I'm seeing the history of the chat that has happened. So requesting approval, and asking a question, and approving, Steve confirming, Steve uploading a file, and Steve doing the final approval, and suddenly saying that the workflow is completed. I can also see that the document that was uploaded in the chat, bank confirmation, is available for all users who have the rights to view the GL batch and who are DML users to actually view that document. You can double click on it to open the document and see what that was all about. Now if I refresh my batch listing, I can see that the batch has now been made ready to post. In addition to the chat history and the approval, I'll also have extender inquiries and extender reports to view on the workflow audit log. So for example, here for this batch 233, I can see that admin submitted the batch for approvals and approved as level 1, and then Steve approved as the final level, and the comments are also available here. And all the chats are available in AC Chat or to Simply Chat, being a module developed in the Sage 300 SDK. And if I need to change my business rules, my workflow rules, you can come into Extender, Workflow Rules, select in this case the GL batch approval configuration, and we can see that subledger batches don't need approval, but I could change this and say actually Anne needs to approve subledger batches. Closing entries are approved by Steve only, and GL batches need to be approved by Anne and Steve, but I could add another level or up to 5 levels. So again, this is about to be released in Extender, so watch this space for more details on these new features in Extender Workflow. So we've seen some examples of collaboration and automation using Notes, Document Management Link, and Extender being put together into our new product called Teamwork. We've looked at it in the context of AP processes and general ledger transactions, but this also applies to other core modules as well as module developed in the SDK, such as to Simply Manufacturing, your order entry processes, purchase orders, purchase requisitions, IC transactions, and we will show you more examples and more detail about Teamwork next month.
Moving on to scenario 3, data analytics, we'll have a look at Info Explorer. Info Explorer is a powerful, affordable business intelligence tool supporting integrated analysis and budgeting. It allows you to analyze business performance in multi-dimensional cubes with a familiar spreadsheet-type layout. It can combine data from your Sage 300 database with other SQL and ODBC databases, such as CRM for comprehensive insights, and you can drill through to Sage 300 data entry screens for more information. The Write-Back Edition allows you to use the same interface for analysis, forecasting, and budgeting, enabling budgeting beyond the general ledger level, building budgets bottom-up or top-down, adjusting budgets using multiple spread methods, maintaining multiple budget versions, and writing budget data back to your Sage 300 database. It helps in forecasting and strategic planning. Its ability to combine data from multiple data sources and allow dynamic control of views, filtering, and creation of dashboards directly enhances data governance and improves forecasting and strategic planning. Report Runner streamlines the setup, execution, and distribution of Crystal reports or Sage 300 financial reports. It allows you to automatically distribute reports by email to nominated recipients. It increases productivity by streamlining report execution and distribution and improves data security by controlling access. Reports from all your Sage 300 modules can be centrally managed and launched without needing to jump between modules. You can organize reports into custom menus for easy location and launch, and set up role-based rules to control user access to specific reports. You can pre-configure report parameters to simplify rerunning of reports, And when combined with Process Scheduler, Report Runner can automate the execution and distribution of recurring reports based on defined schedules. Process Scheduler removes the need for operations staff to manually kick off and monitor recurring Sage 300 processes, allowing you to run critical business processes automatically and unattended. It enables you to avoid resource conflicts by executing processes outside business hours. You can have confidence that your data is being checked and backed up regularly, with status notifications and error alerts automatically emailed. It can be combined with Report Runner and Info Explorer to automate the execution, refresh, and distribution of reports and cubes. It also enables running extender scripts for time-based custom integrations, audits, and notifications. I will now pass you on to Natalie to run through this scenario in action on data analytics.
In our last demonstration scenario, we will look at data analytics in the context of Info Explorer cubes, looking at AP analysis and GL actual versus budget, showing you how we can drill through to the underlying Sage 300 transaction, and also discuss the delivery process with up-to-date information, automatic refresh using Process Scheduler. We'll also look at examples of data analytics with Report Runner, which lets you email crystal reports securely with your pre-configured parameters. We'll look at running reports across multiple companies and seeing how we can use GL financial reports in Report Runner and Process Scheduler. Over to you, Anne.
Starting off with Info Explorer. Info Explorer can be added to your Sage 300 desktop, or you can run it from your taskbar or desktop. When you run Info Explorer, you are not using a Sage 300 LAN pack until such time as you drill through. So opening up this cube for our AP purchases analysis by general ledger account code, you can see we can have a dashboard, which is a collection of views, some views, graphs, and then different views on the data. A dashboard is just a collection of the different views and graphs. So here we're looking at our AP purchases by vendor. And we've grouped our vendors into the account set, the intercompany account set, the USA account set, and grand total. And here we're pulling through the data from the Sage 300 company to which we are connected. So if I want to analyze this data at a deeper level, perhaps I want to see the vendors within the account set code, I can drag and drop the vendor dimension to my rows. And now I'm seeing my vendors grouped into my account set and my account set grouped into the total. And these dimensions, denoted in black, you can drag and drop any of the dimensions to be a row or a column. So the amount excluding tax has come straight from the Sage 300 company, but the amount excluding tax as a percent of the column is calculated in the cube. And you can add as many calculations on the data, underlying data, as you need. So vendor 9002 is 9% of the intercompany group. 9003 is 90% of the intercompany group, and the intercompany group is 49% of the total. And if I wanted to see how this breaks down by general ledger account code, I could drag my account code down. And now I'm seeing the general ledger account code that was posted to within the vendor within the account set. And again, the amount excluding tax as a percentage is calculated based on the amount total per account, per vendor, per account set. So any of the formulas that you added are dynamically recalculated based on the data that you're viewing. So looking now at our AP purchases by distribution code, we can see we've got the amount excluding tax in functional currency and again the percentage in functional currency. If I only wanted to analyze some of the years, I could filter. And if I wanted to see the vendor codes within the distribution codes, again, I could drag our vendor down. And within that, if I wanted to see the invoice number within the individual vendors, we could drag that down too. And when looking at a detail level on any total, we can right-hand mouse button and drill down to see the totals. So these are the underlying transactions that make up that particular total. And from here we can copy and paste to Excel if we need to. But on any individual transaction, we can drill through to either the AP vendor activity or through to the AP invoice itself. And when I click drill through, at this stage, I need to log on to the underlying Sage 300 company. And at this stage, I am using a Sage 300 LAN pack and I'm subject to the Sage 300 security. So if I don't have access to accounts payable, I would get a message saying I don't have access to accounts payable. So this is drilled through to the underlying AP invoice entry. And because I have document management link and notes configured around accounts payable, I'm seeing all my invoices. And if I had dragged in the original invoice 001B, I would see that too. And from within Info Explorer, you can download sample cubes, which are loaded up on our website, grouped by the different modules. So if you wanted to download any of the sample AP cubes, accounts receivable, general ledger, and so on, including third-party modules such as Service Manager and AutoSimply. And these are the cubes that you can use with the Info Explorer Lite license. You would download the sample cube, change the properties to connect to your own SQL database, and then refresh the cubes. Moving on to Report Runner. First we have the Crystal Reports Report Runner. So you're able to create groups and then right-hand mouse button and add a report and add your .rpt Crystal Reports or Sage 300 Crystal Reports. And then you're able to configure the parameters the way you want to run them. For example, for our vendor aging, we have hidden all the parameters except for the from and to group. So when you want to run this report, you would specify the from and to group and then click print or click schedule. And you can set up a schedule to run your vendor aging for that range of vendors and schedule it to run daily, weekly, monthly, and send an email if appropriate. Similarly, for the GL Financial Report Runner, you create groups, right-hand mouse button, you add a group, and then within a group, you add a report. And when you add a report, this time you're adding GL Financial Reports. So the XLSX with the associated financial report spec in them. You would pre-answer the way you run that report, in this case for Division 100, and then when you come to run the report, it has the parameters for all the reports, and all you need to do is specify the fiscal year and fiscal period that you want to run for, and if you want to email to any particular user group. And it'll be running these 4 reports with the same fiscal year and period, and the parameters on how they run have been saved already. And you can also save this run, so next time you're always going to save it in this directory and email it to this group of people, and next time all you need to do is click print or use Process Scheduler to schedule this. So looking at your Process Scheduler setup, you can set up Process Scheduler to run as many schedules as you need, and these schedules can run across companies. So for example, looking at our schedule to run our Crystal reports, it's going to log into Orchid Limited and run any Crystal report that's been scheduled to run by now email and reset up the schedule for the next time, and then do the same in Orchid 2. Or if we look at our financial reports, we are able to run a report group. So in this case, it's going to be running the Department 100 report group and save in that path and email to this user. And similarly, you can schedule your Info Explorer cubes. So in this case, we're refreshing 3 different Info Explorer cubes and emailing out as needs be. So your schedules can run any of these tasks. Level 1 up to send email. Level 2 includes all the IC day ends and all the posting of the different types of batches. And level 3, load database, copy database, running external processes, GL consolidations processes, and open and close fiscal year and period.
Now, in conclusion, digitalization of the finance function is an inevitable and critical next step for any organization aiming to remain competitive, resilient, and adaptable in today's market. Orchid provides proven add-on modules for Sage 300 that empower CFOs to access real-time data and insights for faster, more informed strategic decision-making, automate repetitive manual tasks and significantly streamline financial operations, and enhance overall efficiency and foster greater collaboration across the business. By investing in tools like these, CFOs can not only meet current and future demands of their organizations, but also attract and retain top finance talent seeking modern tools and strategic roles. CFOs are encouraged to build a strong business case for digitalization, partner effectively with IT teams and business leaders, and demonstrate early successes to secure the necessary buy-in for this essential transformation journey. We'll now move on to a question and answer session. If you have any questions, please put them into the question box if you haven't already.